Official clock in the council chamber says it's 5:30. We will call this meeting to order. Jay, would you please do the roll call?
Terry Lamar,
Here.
Bruce Smith,
Here.
Kenneth Brashears.
Here.
Okay. Item number 2 is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the August 27th, 2024 regular street committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move. Second. I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Smith and second by Councilman Brashears to approve the minutes. I just have one question about it, and Buddy, on item number 8 on that agenda was the discussion and action about the White Star machinery for the hydraulic leak repair on the excavator. Has that been done yet?
Yes.
So it's all good to go?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, any other further discussion? Okay, call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Brashears.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any petitions from the audience? You will be covered here in a moment under a specific line item. Okay. Any other petitions from the audience? Okay. All right. Street Superintendent Report, Buddy Glenn. If you would, just give us a report on what you were going to give outside of the other stuff on here, and then we'll talk about that line item.
We've been doing a lot of trimming, mainly over the streets here. We did finish up Willow and Wilkerson, that intersection and that drainage over there. We pulled the barricades on them. I think they was yesterday. We had to let them set. We did a drive for utility department over off of 13th Street. We pulled the barricades off of them yesterday. And but other than that, like I said, we've just been doing a lot of trimming until it gets so cold we can't get up there. Then we'll be looking at some other things we got going on. Probably go back into the alleys, which the wind blows, that blocks a lot of the wind off. So we still do some trimming and work around the shop. So, but other than that's our main thing that we're doing right now. Oh, we did on Taylor Street, North Taylor, over going into Trailer Park. I didn't realize, but we call it, that's Taylor Street that goes on into the trailer park. I've called it Taylor for years, and 911 come around and said that if we would put up A Street. So we went through and put up 3 A Street signs down through there. So whether the address they're looking for is either Taylor Street or A Street, they should be able to find either or now. So other than that, that's about all we've been doing. I mean, odds and ends, patching and stuff like that, and but that's our main project right now. We're trimming everything.
Speaking of trimming, I'm glad you said that, because I've had 2 citizens comment and talk to me about at First and Elliott, on the east side of Elliott, but going westbound where it intersects into Elliott.
Okay, on
the
northeast First and Elliott?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're going westbound on First Street and coming up to Elliott,
Okay.
right there at that stop sign, on the left, there's some tree limbs that are hanging down over the sidewalk that's blocking the view of the northbound traffic. Is that something you could check into to?
Yeah, if it's hanging over the sidewalk, we have if there's a sidewalk there, we have
I think there is, but.
Yeah, we have the ones that, if they would just call down there and leave a message. I mean, anything hangs over that, we try to cut it, 7 or 8 feet above on sidewalks, whatever we can reach from the ground, so we're not up driving in somebody's yard. But yeah, if it's hanging over the sidewalk, I mean, if anything like that, yeah, we can trim that. So.
And when they talked to me about that, I actually went over there, and it was blocking the view of the northbound traffic when it was, leaves and everything was still on. So,
okay.
But I'll get with you about the specific.
Yeah, if you'll just give me an address or whatever it is, it'll help remind, because I didn't bring anything to write on. So
I'll get it to you.
if you do that, yeah, we'll make sure we'll get that.
And then if you're on Adair Street, where it connects.
Okay.
The old Mitch Carver. No, it's not the Mitch Carver property.
The one on the east side of the road?
Yeah, on the east side of the road where that middle building is, kind of the garage. It's either there or it is a block to the west where the old Mitch Carver property was. It's kind of blocking the view of the westbound traffic for cars that's gonna try to turn east or
Okay.
westbound to view because of the, blocking the view there.
Yeah, because I think there was that one time we cut that was probably a 2-year growth on that one.
Okay,
But, yeah, but I know where you're talking about on there, because we have a sign up there, I believe it says no parking, no on-street parking or something like that, so,
Okay.
yep.
right, and Fridays are still,
Yeah, yeah,
pothole
well, yeah,
Fridays?
yeah, not this Friday, but I mean,
Right.
yeah,
And then the brush dump is open on the first and third Saturdays from 8 to 1.
8 to 1 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you. Now, item number 5, discussion possibly recommend council action regarding the 2025 street committee meeting schedule. This was in your packet, and if, I didn't see anything that needed to be brought to the attention of any dates, but if you all, if there is, let us know and we can change it, but if not, I'll entertain a motion to accept that 2025 schedule.
It's basically the last Tuesday of each month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll
Second.
Okay,
make that motion, yeah.
Councilmember Shears and Councilman Smith seconds it. All those in favor? Roll call. Throw you off here.
Smith,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes. Okay. Item number 6, discuss and possibly recommend council action regarding the South Elliott Street project. In your packet, the city got the engineer's estimate report on that on the 23rd of November of the project. And as you see on page, well, it's called page 2, but it's actually page 3 of the double side. The estimated engineering fees for the project from the engineer's office is approximately $50,000. And then on the last page, the engineer's estimate covers Wilkerson to Southeast 14th Street, 14th going northbound to 13th, and then keep going one block each up to 10th Street. And it's broke down in different segments there with the estimated cost from the engineer of that, with the total being $322,750. Originally, we talked about just going to 13th, right, buddy? But I believe he went ahead and did this all the way, so I think Buddy's got some opinions of whether or not we should keep going north or not, but I'm gonna turn it over to you to talk about it now. My first question to you though is,
Okay,
on Wilkerson to 14th, I thought it was, is that really, it's 15th Street on the,
well, it's 15th Street, yeah, because the
Okay.
14th is down, but we'll have to go a little bit past
Okay.
15th to hook onto that concrete that the school poured.
okay.
But yeah, that's actually, well, yeah, unless he's talking, well, yeah,
Because it's Wilkerson on the west side of the street,
yes,
but the east side, going eastbound is 15th.
yes.
Yes, so the order for this request was for 15th to 14th, 14th to 13th, and so on.
But like I said, the ones down here, 12th to 11th, and then 11th to 10th. I know he's got 24-inch pipe down here. Sure that they shot grade to find out if you could put a 24-inch pipe all the way up there that would run through that area. I've never shot grade on it to see, but if we didn't want to do everything, my biggest part was there at 15th to 13th Street. That was the main one, but then also from 13th to 12th is also a ditch that washes out quite a bit on the bottom that we have to go in and put material in to build it back up. So, just depending on how far we wanted to go, if we just want to do from 15th Street down to 12th Street, that would be fine there. I mean, we've got the money budgeted for this.
Now, buddy, that'll take care of the, what is it, 14th, that's got the broke down pipe or whatever?
Yeah, 15th Street, yeah,
15th where it's flooded so bad?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because those pipes we got to look at, and they are, we poured that street probably 10 years ago. The pipes were still fairly good in there when we done that repair over the top of them. But like I said, they've just been, over the last 10 years, they just kind of rusted out, so. But yeah, that would fix that problem there at 15th, and, cause then you'd have matching pipe going all the way through, same size, you know.
Take care of our mowing problem.
Yeah, take care of the mold problem down through there, but then, I know a lot of times in the wintertime, those ditches on that side, they're always worried about sliding off on it, which, I mean, those are some fairly deep ditches through there.
Yeah.
So, but it would make that area look a lot better, you know, but from, like I said, from 12th down to 10th Street, you know, to me, those ditches, they're not that bad. I mean, I know the people would probably like to have it
Right on
done so they don't have to mow the ditches, but,
Going south.
but we do have it. And of course, again, you know, the estimate here is 322,000. But, you know, again, that's just an estimate. We don't know what it is until somebody, you know, we actually go out for bid for this. But, you know, I didn't want to wait forever to get this done, because I would like for some of these projects, as soon as the budget's okayed, to go ahead and have some of these projects ready to go out for bids and have them done, because it seems like here lately, we're always running over past into December, or into July. You know, then you have to worry about trying to roll all that money over. Then if there's any other cost that comes up, you know, it's just, I would like to start as soon as we can and start getting the projects going. Because like I said, we've had decent weather all the way up till now. I mean, it's,
So Bruce had mentioned eliminate mowing problem, so these would be covered up with asphalt or concrete, the ditch?
well, no, I think it'd be an earthen ditch, or I mean, it'd be covered with grass.
You won't eliminate the mowing problem.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, but you wouldn't have to be mowing a ditch
Right.
that deep. It's just something they could come out to.
Okay.
Because, yeah, solid slab sod that they would put back for everything.
So you're saying the priority should be from 15th or Wilkerson going north to 12th?
12th Street would be, I mean, my recommendations. I mean, those are the worst ones, because those are the ones that really wash out.
And are you still wanting to do these 1 year at a time, or see what the cost is to get it all done at once?
Well, the way this is bid, see, we could actually go out for bid, and if they bid it the same way that they do here, then the way they've done this, we can pick and choose how much, you know, if we want to add to or take away from. And,
So we need to go bid for the total project and then go from there after we get.
yeah, then we can say, well, if, you know, they come out, you know, way higher than what we want to look at, but I mean, anytime you get into drainage, because I know they're from 10th to the 12th Street. I mean, I know when they dropped all that down, the concrete through there, see, that was supposed to be designed as a curb and gutter with underground drainage anyway. And that's why a lot of times 10th Street, 10th on down, it doesn't drain as fast. It will drain, but there's not much fall because they were designed to all go under the street. So, but they're, like I said, he's talking about, you know, putting a 30 down to a 24 inch, you know, and if there's enough fall from there, I mean, again, you know, we've got the money budgeted if we want to look at, you know, go over the whole thing and then see what it comes up to, and if we want to do it, I mean, that'd be fine, and then, I mean, that project would be done, because, you know, we want to try to look at some other projects, in the next year to get done, and, but that would just make that area a lot nicer, a lot safer.
We've got the money budgeted to do the whole project then.
Correct. I think we budgeted, 800,000 for drainage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to see us go ahead, and if we have the money, to go ahead and do the whole thing and be done with it.
Okay.
I agree.
And
I'll
I
make
also,
that form motion.
and I also, can we finish our discussion first?
You can if you want to, go ahead.
Okay.
You can make a motion to discuss anyway.
That and
I'm fully supporting that we need to get started on a project instead of wait until, we don't need to go through what we went through last year. When we do a project, we need to be ready to go and not have to wait till the end of the year to do it. So I'm for
Okay.
going out for bids on that, and recommend the council do that. So, Mayor, do you have any comments on it?
and do we happen to know how much money's in that account? It's the
We budgeted about 808,000 to be exact.
okay.
So
Well, do we know how much? What I meant to say was
we haven't spent any of it. We have not spent any of that.
Okay.
So, and that's what I was gonna say, when we talked about the First Street project, the overlay on, am I wrong?
Is it 5092?
I don't know what the designation.
Yeah, well, it says that we
Drainage.
spent 54,000 out of that $808,000
Any of that?
this year, and if that's accurate.
Well, we spent, we'll have to look at
Yeah.
that. But we budgeted 808,000, so.
Right.
And I know we talked a little bit about the last time we visited about, if the old Highway 20 project were to go over, there'd be a little bit there to soften that blow if we needed to transfer over to cover. That
Yeah.
project's gonna be good. We don't know where the bids yet are on that. I think on this, when we look at this, I think the good thing there is that engineer's estimate is significantly lower than what we planned on. But I wanna make sure that we not only get this done, but we've got, and it's another item on the agenda, so I'm not gonna jump ahead. We wanna make sure that we leave enough to address that other issue that's pretty pressing. So, and it's a larger, I think the larger project than what we're gonna discuss tonight, but I wanna make sure that we remember that in that drainage funds, we need to leave some available. So
Yeah.
just keep that in the back of your mind.
Okay, so if we recommend council action on this tonight, it would go to the council next Tuesday night to go out for bids.
Yes, are we still, we're not done with that agenda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'd put it on there for that, to go out for bids, sealed bids,
Okay,
just like we did the other projects.
okay.
Alright.
Is that good with you?
Now,
Okay.
just for clarification on, because I know Cassell is a little bit limited here, but the actual total that's in the account, was that the 808,000 that's actually there that we?
808 is what we budgeted.
Okay.
So if we've allocated something out of that, we just have to,
I mean, I know we can't technically spend money that's not there, so if it wasn't.
it's there,
Okay,
it's there. So we budgeted the 808. If there was 50, do you remember putting in?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
$53,906 it says has already been encumbered year to date.
So we'll just look and see what that 53 is. That's an easy thing, but we've been real careful to leave that fund. We'll look at that. Either way, the engineer's estimate on here is 322,000.
Yeah.
There's 800 there, so minus 50s. We've got plenty for this project. I want to make sure that that's what we focus on.
yeah.
We can address that other tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll look at it.
It'd be better to get it done during a dry spell than the opposite.
Well, like I said, we've had such dry weather that, that
Right.
they could have been down. Of course, I know it's gonna take a little while being down by the school. Traffic's gonna have to be, rerouted around, but I think it's gonna be worth it once we get it done. So.
Right. Any other questions on that?
No. Okay. Do we have a motion to recommend council action on this to,
Already did that.
okay, good.
I'll second.
Are you ready? Okay. Brashears?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Okay, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding the Taylor property drainage. This is I asked this to be put on here to discuss it tonight because this is the drainage area that we're all well aware of back onto the Taylor property, who gave us permission to go back there and do what we needed to do. But we haven't done that yet because of complaints from folks in the county that.
Yes, I think we're fixing ourselves into a position that we don't need to be into. Again, I know that there was a letter written saying we can get on or do whatever we can. But our ordinance states that the only time that we can actually get on any type of property and work is if we either have a temporary easement or a full easement. Because one thing it is, if we're working with that piece of paper, if somebody got hurt on that, we would not be covered because we got a piece of paper that states that, but it's not according to our bylaws, I guess you would say. We have to have some type of easement. But then also, like I said, the people across the street, I know when we went and opened that up down there last time and we had all the water going down, And then that extends the core land even back behind those other people's houses across the street. That the beavers was moving, we still had some here, but they was moving on downstream. And they was causing blockages down there. And I just didn't want to get into this situation where they said, well, all I need to do is write you a permission to get back here to do that. And, you know, yeah, I'll just write you permission. Well, I don't want to get started on that. I think it's going to bite us, and I think if we need to do it, we need to do it by the way that it should be. There should be some type of easement that we have.
An official document.
Correct.
From legal document on the easement. I see no problem with that.
And it's not, like I said, it's not that we didn't mind doing it, but like I said, it's getting to the point. I mean, we can only do so much back through there. I don't know why it was dammed up back in the day, unless they was trying to make a fish pond or something, I'm not real sure. But that last time when we dug down the bank, we was trying to get, the water was coming down and draining fairly well. But, you know, and I know Bruce went back there and tried to get rid of some of the beavers for us and things. But I think it's just, there may be, you know, I don't say a suit, but I mean, but if it keeps continuing like that, who says that anybody we want to get on there to do their property, so, well, I'll just give you permission to get on here and do it. Well, but again, you have to look at the insurance. I know our insurance, if you're working on private property, somebody gets hurt, it will not cover it. I mean, that's been clear for.
How did the last flood do?
I
I didn't ask anybody.
No, I mean, water's gone down. Joel said he hadn't had any problems back there. As long as the neighbor back through there quits, you know, dumping his grass back there. He had pallets back there last time, and I called code enforcement, went back there, and he was supposedly make them pick all that up, because that's one of the problems. We're just aiding the beavers' work with all the grass and all that stuff going down and piling it up. So, but.
So what we need to do is get a legal, temporary easement.
Yeah, because see, if we do it temporary, we can go back there and do work, but then if anything ever else happens back there, see, then we can't go back there again. We'd have to go through the whole process. That's why, usually, you know, we always ask for what I just call them a full easement, you know, where we can get back and maintain it, but I know there's a lot of people they don't like doing that, because then the city can come in, do things, and they may not like, which, I mean, I understand that all, but.
If we get a temporary easement on a Taylor, and we get cleaned out what we want to clean out, and you've got a problem over in the county across the road, is that really our problem?
Well, but see, that's.
We want to be good neighbors.
Yeah.
With our folks out in the county, so to speak. But, I mean, we can only take care of so much, and we take care of the county, or the city, and then from then on south, that would be up to their county commissioner.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if the county is aware of all the problems that's going on through there.
And we are gonna change the commissioners in that district here in the next couple of months too, so.
Yeah.
We probably need to meet with the new commissioner and kind of give them a heads up on what.
Yeah, and he may be able, cause see, they have some bigger equipment we have, because they're, and they may be able to go in.
After we found the leak up at the high school that was running water in there all the time and growing the grass, and after we got that stopped, that may take care of a lot of problem right there.
Yeah, because it dried up here the other day. There was no water whatsoever back
But
there.
I drove around it, I guess you did too, and saw the pipe with the water coming out. It shouldn't have been coming out.
Yeah.
Finally tracked it back to the schools.
Yeah, we found several, well, utilities, we didn't, but they found several leaks around the town where the drainage always staying wet, damp, building up, you know, water in through there, but couldn't find out there was water leaks, and they're working on, like one there on, was it Southeast Third and Adair? You know, they found a water leak there that keeps that area all wet all the time. So that'll fix that area.
Mayor, did you, I think you did, but did you get the information on the ownership and the contact numbers and everything?
So that's what I was gonna say is, if you recall on this whole thing, part of the problem that we've run into is being able to get a hold of the right people for all of the different easements we'll need to get back there. If you gotta get a big piece of equipment back there, we're gonna have to go in behind and down and around like we talked previous. So a lot of it's trying to get all that gathered up, but we know who owns what. I mean, we have access to those records. It's just getting a hold of those people.
That email, I think, had her name and number on it, I believe, but I can't, it's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, it's been a few.
So I
So
think
has-
Terry gave that to you, and so you've got the information if you need it, right?
Yeah, the city can
Okay.
get a hold of who we need to. Again, it's
Okay.
just,
I don't
getting
think
all-
there'd be a
getting-
problem with a temporary easement, they won't do a full one though.
no, and we find that a lot, like Buddy said, a lot of time, I feel like I'm yelling, like I gotta talk over this thing. Sorry, a lot of times what we find is people don't wanna give that full easement. We ran into that with the Larimore projects and some of these others, because they are afraid that we're gonna just come in and do what we want when we want. And, you know, we wanna remind everybody, we're respectful of your property, we're respectful of those things, but much like MUB, if they need to get in and access, they need to get into access. And, you know, keeping in mind that the city does have easements that we don't have to request along the street and things like that, we still want to be respectful and make sure that we let everybody know what's going on. And so I don't think we'll run into anything where, unless it's an emergency, we're gonna just barge right in and do, but it is getting a hold of, trying to get everybody wrangled up and get all those permissions the right way.
And it may be, you know, get with the county and they may wanna go in on it, because if we do get in there and fix it, you know, it needs to be where, you know, a piece of equipment, a skid steer or whatever can get up and down there to clean it back out, you know, whether you put blocks down the side, concrete bottom or whatever, where the water go through, and then fill in that area where it no longer holds water, you know, but fix it where everything will come on down. Because you know, within so many years, if you don't get all the trees or everything out of it, and the beavers do come back, they're gonna start doing the same thing again. So, but then again, you know, is this something we wanna do? We wanna start getting easements off in the county to do work, you know?
Well, no, we don't,
Yeah.
that's up to the county. Here's what I see, we've got two things here. One is taking care of our problem on the north side of 29th Street. And that would be to get with the Taylor family and get a legal temporary easement. And get that taken care of, that's number one, that's in my opinion. And we need to get that done, but we've dragged this on for months now, and we thought we had it, but now we don't have a legal temporary easement. So what do we need to do, or who needs to get a hold of the Taylor family about the legal document that needs to be accomplished?
We can do that the way we've done in the past. We'll stick the engineer on.
And you've worked with, like, Dr. Raines on that, those easements, and that's done, so.
We have.
So, let's get with the engineer. Do we need to get this before the full council to do that, or just?
Well, I don't think so,
Direct
Terry.
to do.
I think if you recall, we backed this up a couple months. Councilman Smith said he was gonna get a hold of the Taylors and get that permission, and that ended up, that's where Buddy's saying, we got that permission, but it's getting them here to sign that easement when they've
Or
been
do we
out
have
of.
it drawn up to where all they gotta do is
Yeah,
sign
that's
it?
easy. That's 30-second deal.
Okay.
It's a form that we use, but we need them to come to us at the very, if they're not gonna be where we can get to them on their home, we need them to come to us, or at least avail some way that we can fax it to them, whatever it is. Do that. We need them to be accessible. And that's what we've run into, is that
Okay.
accessibility. So we'll keep on it, but.
Okay,
it's an
and then
accessibility.
secondary is on south, downstream, down south, and that's, I'm sorry, but that is in the county, and that's their deal. So I would think that we probably, the city and the county, with the new commissioner, needs to talk and let them know about this problem, and like you said, they may not even know about it,
Yeah.
and have some dialogue to get a relationship going with them,
That transition, and we can.
to transition that, to get them taken care of down
Yeah,
south.
cause I mean, if you don't wanna go a full-blown drainage project, I mean, you might be able to come there just with a dozer and just doze everything down and level everything back up. Take out most of the trees that's down through there. And, once you start getting, some grass growing into it, then, I mean, it'll look nice and, it, more or less 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna hold water. But I don't wanna start getting it where, again, we're starting to move over into the county thing and then being held responsible for that, because then you're working somewhere where we shouldn't be there because we don't have the proper paperwork and insurance and all that, so.
So, do we need to do anything on the agenda for the council meeting to the council's directed this be done, or are we gonna get it taken care of just via outside that channel.
Well, if nothing else, put it on there and ask them, see how they all feel about going, you know, past, beyond city limits and the county or,
Well, I'm talking about right now, and I'm telling you the easements for.
for the easements. Well, but again, that may be something they want to talk about, because there may be some up here that says, well, no, we don't need to be out in there. And,
I think we can send a letter to the Taylors.
Okay.
I mean, listen, we don't need to go full, I mean, that's.
Okay, I just wanna get it taken care of before, we have to do that.
yeah,
Again, just remember that what we've run into in the past is the availability of those that have to sign that easement, so we'll keep on it, that's.
I just don't want nobody feeling that they're not being aware, we're trying to do anything behind anybody's back. That's not our intent.
Okay.
But there may be some, you know, we may get this and they say, well, you know, no, that's actually outside city limits. We really don't need to be doing any of that. That should fall back to the homeowner and the county. So that's what I'm saying is, you know, they may feel that way. But that's, I mean, anything that we can have to help us get our water drained off ours, I mean, it's, anything would be worth it. You know, you can go high dollar, or you can, like I said, you know, you can take a grader, skid steer, or a excavator out there, you know, and haul some of that stuff off. But I don't think core land don't start till the other side of the road. So we wouldn't have to worry about permits and stuff like that, so.
Okay, then moving on to item number 8.
One more thing, if you would. Mayor, I'm gonna text you the owner's number, and you can call him tomorrow and do whatever you need to do.
Give me a name with it, if you would.
Yeah, I can do that. Do it right now, go ahead.
Okay. Item number 8 is discussion regarding a possible drainage project on the Ridgewood and Brookfield Terrace area.
Correct.
So, do we have a motion for discussion?
Motion.
A motion by Councilmember Shears and a second. I'll second it. He's in the bubble.
He's constipated.
I was listening, but I made a motion when I was going to, you want to make it, so I was going to be quiet.
Okay, so in this particular thing, I believe that there's a serious drainage problem down around Brookfield Terrace area involving the Raritz property and amongst others in there, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of erosion going on, especially in their yard. I mean, there's some that goes on through there. Again, I know there's some people that doesn't want to give easements through there, what I understand. So if you can't get everybody with everything done, then, but we have the homeowners now to be willing, I mean, to give an easement by their location where we can go in and fix the drainage problem that we're having and the erosion on the property. Because if it keeps going, then again, they're not going to have any backyard, and then it's going to be up to their foundation. I mean, in a few years, I would say, depending. But I mean, that's just something again, that could be one of our projects for this next year's, if we can't get it this year, but put that as.
It's over here.
Are you looking for where that's at?
Yeah, it's right in here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, coming down through here, you're gonna go right. I didn't mean to.
No, just go ahead.
So you've got the Morrisons, and it comes down between the Morrisons, kind of caddy through there, in between these two properties, in between here's, across the street. Now,
Oh, sorry.
Carrie and Phil, you said that the two across the street were empty, right? They're vacant houses at this point. Yeah. So that'll require us to figure out with Chase how we go about doing that. But then it gets down here, follows around through the Littlefield house, around that cul-de-sac and down to Dr. Raines. The backup on Dr. Raines is causing some issues here with washout, and we've got those easements. We don't even need to go into that tonight. But we've got to figure out right now, right here between the Raritz and whoever that is there, Bradley. This is where the problem is the worst, right here. And so, I'm sorry. I'm showing the wall over right here between the Bradley and
Bradley's your neighbor?
right there. Wendy and I have talked quite a bit about how we would approach that. I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if it, you know, engineering, but again, you're gonna have to have some equipment that'll be able to get back there to handle the blocks and everything. But I mean, I don't think it would be that expensive of a drainage project if we wanted to do that. Because again, you know, if on the opposite side, on the west, or I'll be on the south side, you know, even if we didn't get anything done with that could also be a future project if somebody buys it and we give easements. But even if we was able to do the north side to stable up both of the property and then fix that drainage there on the bottom, replace that pipe and re-pour that street, then, I mean, that would just make that area look much better. But then again,
Get it moving through.
yeah, so it's not backing up, and, you know, people are losing their property because of the drainage through there. Because all the drainage, I found out everything, if it's a natural drainage, 9 times out of 10, we don't have an easement for it. If it's a man-made drainage, then somewhere down the line, we've got easements for that. But see, that whole thing down through there, all the way down to Ridgewood where that cul-de-sac is, see, we was doing that when I was working back when Bill Briggs was here. We was doing the work in through there, shoring up the sides. Well, they come in and told us to get off the property because that's Corps of Engineer land, and if you don't have the proper paperwork and the people that knows how to do it, because you can move stuff around if you can haul it off, but you can't really bring anything back in. I mean, so you have to have somebody that kind of knows. It's not just going back there and cleaning out a drainage and just leaving. So, but if you build on the quarry, there may be specs that they have to do. So I don't know how far. You don't know if your property comes on that side on this core property, do you?
No, they're not core property.
Okay, because I know just on the other side is where that starts, because we used to go back in there when all the leaves was going through, and then the core would come back in where that cul-de-sac goes all the way where the fence stops there on Ridgewood. From there all the way back to Meadowbrook, right up through that edge. That's Corps of Engineer land. It's city proper or private property, but it's also, we don't have any drainage easements, but it's also core property. So we'd have to. It's not just something we could go in and do. It may have to. You know, if we do all that, if we ever get the permits and all that, it's probably going to have to be drawn up somehow and also okayed by the Corps. I've never had to deal with them before, so that's what we're running into. But if we could fix one side, that would still be worth it. I mean, we could get in there and fix that right, and then later on, the year after that, you know, if we need to, we can get back in there. Just a little short, not really expensive projects, so we don't have to.
Well, you've got, as you get down around where the little fields are at, I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about. A few years ago, Kenny Littlefield actually had his shed floated out of his yard and down that drainage. That was kind of an interesting thing there. But I think what our goal right now needs to be is to get the water moving off. You have such an elevation drop from Centennial Park down to the Rains property, and you wouldn't realize it till you start watching the falls in that water. I think step one and most pressing is get their property taken care of. We are watching it literally erode to where it's going to become a foundation issue. We don't want to do that for them when we can easily try to shore that up and get the water moving under the street. Littlefield has, with some of his neighbors there in that cul-de-sac, they've been reinforcing the ditch there, and it's a lot deeper there. You're what, about 3 feet deep, maybe, your ditch?
For our ditch?
Yeah, if you had to say maybe 3-4 feet.
Probably.
It's not nearly as deep there as it is down around the cul-de-sac on Ridgewood. And so we need to get that water moving under the road and out of their property. We talked about how would that look, maybe get down to the base, some gravel, those big blocks, those 2,000-pound blocks, basically create a retaining wall. If we do that and we don't fix the pipe in the street, we're floating them, and we don't need to do that. We need to get that water on through, and I'm sure that they appreciate that. So I think if we can get this South Elliott water moving, which lo and behold, guess where that water goes? Through Centennial, across the street, through the Rarets, and out to the Rains. But we need to make sure that if we're going to improve the drainage on Elliott, that we don't create damming issues, no pun intended, for for the Rarets. So the goal should be to get it across Brookfield Terrace, through the park, across through, I know the Morrisons, Christina Morrison and her husband would appreciate that as well. They've had a lot of erosion issues as well, so.
Mayor, should we have our engineer contact the Corps engineers and get,
I think that would be a healthy move. I think we're
think
gonna
so,
have
see
to
where we're at.
ultimately.
yeah,
It's not gonna be a quick thing. That's gonna be something that's probably could take us a year or so, so.
So the first thing we need to do then is get our city engineer to get started on the project.
Well, we're gonna have to,
Okay.
keep in mind, we'll have to get his estimate of cost and do that one step at a time. We're not gonna bombard everything and drain Buddy's accounts.
Yeah,
But
so, again, but at least we have an idea what it's gonna cost, so if it's actually, like I said, into this next year. So
Right.
whatever we don't spend this year, we can either roll that money over or budget 90% of it and not
correct.
be down with everything. Because again, with, Northeast First Street, you know, we was talking about, cause it was his estimate was like 149,000 more than what we actually had budgeted for it. But I thought, well, if we're gonna have to do, depending on what it is, we're gonna have to take the milling off and just do an overlay. So we had some patchwork that had to be done. But if there was anything in the excess, we had to go down and redo the sub base or something that was unknown, that we could use we could take some of that money that was in that drainage and move it over into that street project, so it's done correctly, so we're not patching it and coming back later on. I mean, if we're gonna do it, we might as well.
At this point, it looks like we're gonna be good to do our overlay. We'll put down that cloth, but again, we just wanna remember to be mindful of the funds. We don't wanna drain it to zero. That's not healthy.
Quick question, how much of that water from Elliott and the park runs, like, would you say runs through that? Only because I know the improvements on Elliott are on the other side of the street, but, or not.
It is, but 99% of that water, less what Bruce gets in his ditch, which is minimal, 99% of that water goes right through the Rarets' yard.
Right, well, that's why I was gonna ask, would it be wise to potentially do this before increasing flow north of them, or what would you recommend on that?
does that water, where does it run in to the creek there at 17th? Is that water from the north end of Elliott or from the south?
Well, north and south, both, it both flows down to 17th and then goes in that drainage and then works its way up.
So you've got the little round house over there, the bubble house. It's now maroon, they painted it, but you've got a little pooling area there that collects on the north side of 17th. And that comes down, that's all of the Lindley Lane and that area, that collects there, and that channels down into the park. Then you've got the heft of what we're dealing with comes off of the South Elliott area that we're talking about. They converge in the middle of Centennial Park.
No, that's right.
And run down. I think Centennial is fine. I've never seen Centennial flood, so to say. I think those ditches are, I think the ditches are fine there. It's really when you start funneling it down into that back southwest corner of that area.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, it's.
Well, because you got all the water that comes down halfway down 17th Street. It comes down to the park and goes.
Well, would
Well, and
we
that's-
be ahead to start cleaning out the ditch there it rains to let the water flow from the other side?
I think we get their stuff taken care of first.
Well, I mean,
It's got room for that water to go if it needs to, but I think we're dealing with hardcore erosion on there.
well, does Corps, how far do they go up through there? How are we working on range in the Corps of Engineers?
Well, that's why we need to see how far it goes out. See, I'm not sure. I know they're right there across from their house. Once you cross that road there on, Meadowbrook, whatever our easements that stops there, I think it's 5 or 10 feet out from that pipe. I know from there, all of that, what goes all the way down around that cul-de-sac, then goes back out into that other property. I know that's all,
Well, that's Corps owned range, isn't it?
they own it. I mean, you know, besides the homeowners or whatever, but I mean, that's considered core property.
Well, I just wondered, if you're gonna work on range on Corps, why couldn't you work on theirs on Corps?
Well, but theirs is not on core land.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's,
I thought you said it was, that's why.
no, it goes on back,
Yeah,
goes
I was
south.
all confused about that too, because I thought you were saying some of that area behind their backyard was core land.
Not theirs, no,
Okay.
the other side.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, I'm with you.
yeah, I'm sorry, I may
So
have
we
said
need to
that.
get the engineer to get started on it.
On the course, and he's aware, we've talked, we just need to give him the thumbs up to start, so.
That way there, we can have these projects, like I said, next year if we can't do it,
And that's something you can do, just give it a thumbs up like,
Yeah, I'll call him in the morning, that's fine.
okay.
okay, 'cause I don't have the authority enough weight in my britches to be able to say, hey, you need to do this, so that's,
So I understand that our discussion is that we're gonna get the ball rolling with the engineer to start looking and working at this project and coming up with a plan. Okay. Y'all have any questions?
How soon can you start, I guess?
Well,
Yeah.
it may be worth, talking to MUB as well. There are utility lines that go across that drainage.
Excuse me, Nina's listening, please, come to the podium.
So it may be worth talking to MUB too as we get going, because there's our electrical panel thing, the thing that spins, whatever that's called. It's eroding underneath that. And then there are electrical and other lines that are buried that go across that drainage ditch, and that's getting washed away as well. So I don't know if we're gonna have to, I don't know.
yeah, 'cause see, Jimmy called me the other day and said that he was gonna find out if it was our duty or their duty to get back there, because whatever that sewer or whatever goes across.
Yeah,
And I told him, I said, we don't have any easements to get back there.
well, I'm happy to sign, Phil and I are happy to sign an easement.
Yeah, but this is
On
on,
our
this is
property.
on north of your house, though.
Yeah.
As it comes on back through there,
Yeah.
'cause that's, utilities has an easement through there, but it's not a drainage
I'll
easement.
visit with Jared.
Yeah.
I mean, if we get in there and we start working, then I'm only yelling because I'm not
Sure.
standing up again. Sorry, the idea is we'll work with, make sure that all of those things are taken care of,
Yeah, cool.
part of that deal.
Yeah, but I guess there is no concern if the Elliott project gets done, and I know it's gonna be a while, that's not gonna create any problems until this part gets figured out and started.
No, I
Like
don't think
the-
it's gonna wash your house up. or
Okay.
Anything like that where it's gonna cause damage, if it does, you know, if we have an easement from them, then nothing else, we can do it like a, jump in there somehow and do a temporary fix or something, just
Okay,
to bank that up, but whatever we do to it, I want it to be,
just stack a bunch of sandbags and stuff, or not a sandbag, but concrete bags up in there.
well, I mean, they're $4 a bag for 50 pounds, so I mean, they can at least get out there when it makes hard, they can paint it.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 9, discuss the possible purchase of a new street sweeper in the next fiscal year.
What that is, I know we talked about it here a while back, and I had finally got one quote from, a company, and their quote was, I think it was $425,000. So we put $200,000 back this next year, and again, you know, whether they go up in price, I don't know if there's any place out there that has a state bid on sweepers, I don't know, but I mean, also depending on type of sweepers, I mean, there's, you know, there's all different types, there's a crosswind, there's a direct suction, you know, there's some other things out there that, you know, that we can look at. We're gonna run to Veneta and see what the new one that they bought, because they come down and looked at ours, and we give them a recommendation, because we liked the one that we had, and, so that's what they bought. Well, then theirs was starting to get old or whatever, so they went and bought them another one, so we're gonna go see what they done. But I don't know, I'm trying to find out, see if there's actually a state bid that we can do, but if we can pick the type of sweeper that we want. But I mean, it's gonna be another $250,000 that we may have to budget this next year for that.
Okay.
So, but that's what that is, because again, you know, if we want to continue sweeping, I mean, that's what it's gonna cost, because once this one breaks down, it's no more, so.
So the bottom line is that be prepared that we're gonna look for that in the next fiscal year.
Yes, correct, yeah, next fiscal year, not this year.
Okay. Okay, next is the update regarding the new pickup.
And the new pickup, I didn't realize it, but they had to go, I guess, build it. They don't carry a lot of things anymore, like they used to, but they said it would be, 2 weeks into December, so which will say a couple of weeks now. It should be in between now
By
and,
Christmas, Bobby should get his
he
Christmas.
should get his truck, so,
Okay,
if I don't take it from him, but that's,
okay.
no, the next one I'll get to Colorado.
And item number 11, discussion regarding the expenditure not to exceed $1,000 The P and K equipment for the replacement of weed eater and one chainsaw to be paid from the FEMA account.
Yeah, because what's happened now, we had one chainsaw went down, and we had one weed eater went down. The weed eaters we have are probably 12, 15 years old. They've been good, well maintained by Michael, but it's just with everything that we weed eat, finally one of them is giving it up. And then one of our chainsaws, it's starting to smoke real bad, even though, and I just don't like to, especially with wintertime coming up, being short on hand power tools to be able to use to do that with.
And that's just simply, it's gonna be paid for out of FEMA reimbursement.
Correct.
And it's also just, it's under $2,500 expense, so that can just be
Correct.
done with it. Okay.
But I just want to let y'all make sure that you all are aware that this is what I'm looking for, up to that. I'm kind of hoping they're supposed to have their sale here, where they're like $100 off on each piece of equipment.
Okay.
So that'll make it even cheaper, but I just wanted you all to be aware if you've seen that and thinking, well, somebody gonna ask y'all why we buying a weed eater in the wintertime. Well, I mean, that's why, because
It's time to buy them.
yeah, it's time to
Oh,
buy,
yeah.
so.
No one would ever even know it's bought until they get their little expenditures after the council meeting, so it's not an issue.
Yeah.
No, but best to buy it now, especially if they're gonna go on sale.
Well, like I said, P&K usually every year they put a lot of their stuff on sale, and that's why we try to look at that. Because at one time, I said we bought 3 pole saws, 3 weed eaters, and a couple leaf blowers. They was like $250 off each piece of equipment. Then when the city got in there, they gave us even a better deal. So, but just want y'all be aware that.
Okay, thank you, buddy. Any unforeseeable business?
Yeah, I got a call today, this afternoon about 3:30, 4 o'clock from the tag office. So I don't know if you're, I'll explain, Bruce, don't distort your face that bad. The concern was they're doing the driving test now through town. As they've done this now for about 3 weeks or so, they're realizing that we don't have speed limit signs like we should in some of the areas that they're doing the test. So I asked her, I said, what route are you taking? She's not allowed to disclose what that route is, but she did agree to send me a list of a few recommended streets that could use some speed limit signs. So why am I bringing this up? Normally that'd just be me telling Buddy, hey, go put some speed limit signs out. I think we look at some of these areas that might come up, might be in conjunction with where we're having some issues with speeding, if you really think about that. So you guys may have to, in the coming future, look at cost of buying some more signs. That might be something we may have to do and look at where that's at. But just want to make known that we brought it to you guys that now the tag office has said, I can't test the kids if I don't have speed limit signs for them to know what the speed limits are in town. So it's fair, even though the book says it's 25.
So isn't
Right.
it?
25 unless otherwise posted.
That's what I.
Right.
That's what I was gonna say.
So, you know, all of that said, we know how that works, but I think it would just be wise to make sure that the street committee's aware that that's something that's been requested of the local state-run tag office, that, you know, maybe some of those signs, speed limits and things like that. So, any questions on that?
No, sir. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Do you have any questions on that, Councilman Smith?
No, wonder if we can, in this discussion, tie in the speed monitor device we talked about. Would that be a street or a police thing?
That's a police thing.
Okay,
It's still on my desk.
okay, all right.
That actually reminded me, I don't know if I can say it, but it does involve signs. Are we able to say anything about I've overheard some complaining about no stop sign on South Kauai and First, and people nearly getting hit because they think that it's a four-way, but north and southbound are not. Has anybody heard anything about that?
No.
No.
No one has ever complained. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
No.
just, yeah, 'cause you have a stop at east-west, but you don't have one stop at north-south.
But every other street does, and so people just kind of, I mean, yeah, there's no stop sign there, so you would have to think to yield, but it gets, but
But the drainage would be too
Well,
fast and drag them off.
I don't think there's a stop
In-
sign from there all the way to the park.
No, and we don't need a stop sign every block because we need to keep traffic flowing.
okay.
But that, you know,
No, I
I've
just
lived
heard
here
some,
for 60 62 years and there's never been a stop sign there, and, but I've seen people in my intersection at Van and Second Street that there's no stop sign going southbound, but they stop anyway, so you're gonna have that problem everywhere, I guess. People don't pay attention.
Drivers be aware.
Yeah,
Okay.
they stop when there's no stop sign, then they don't stop when there is, they run stop signs, so.
They make up for it, you know. Anyway. no,
I think people, my personal opinion is that people at First and Kauai would probably be more happy to have the cutout, utility cutout there and fixed there just to the north of the intersection going southbound, which I've asked about before, and hopefully that's on their list. But anyway. Okay, so I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Shear, second by Smith. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
Thank you for your all's time.